inspection to qualify. Average nightly rates are between $1,500 and $2,000. But it's worth it.
It's fun to dream a little bit, just to look online.
Just go online, yeah, see the properties available. It's a little steep. Have you ever done an Airbnb?
No, I haven't actually.
I did the VROB, the other company in Europe. It works out pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I think we could get used to that.
I'm in.
Yeah,
we can pool our money one night somewhere. All right, that's our time for now. Have a great 4th of July, everyone. As we said, we will not be on the air at 4 tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. News 3 at 5 starts now.
And right now at 5, some Rock County residents are raising questions with the Department of Corrections after a registered sex offender is released in their community.
And Governor Evers has made 78 partial vetoes to the state budget passed by the Republican-controlled legislature. Will explain what he vetoed.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us at 5, everyone. Neighbors in Rock County say they are upset that another sex offender has been placed in their community.
Michael Quaid has been convicted of second-degree sexual assault at 2 separate occasions. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from the bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why neighbors feel so strongly about him moving in.
Oh, Mark and Susan, the Department of Corrections says Michael Quaid was moved into this transitional living unit last week, but the neighbors I talked to in Beloit today say they didn't find out until just last night. And for the person living across the street, it's definitely a disappointment.
The changes coming to Kathy Charlow's neighborhood are not ones she's excited about.
I'm not happy at all. I'm really not.
Just last night, she found out the news.
Saw it on Facebook. I don't want to say the words I said to my husband.
That convicted sex offender Michael Quaid has moved in across the street from her house on Portland Avenue. Charlow not the only person upset by this news, with hundreds of comments on Beloit Police's post. BPD says today they're deferring all comments to the Department of Corrections, who they say uses the house to transition sex offenders and other criminals back into society. They say staff are assigned to do 3 random checks per day at the property. Still, Kathy says this is just frustrating to deal with, given that she had no say.
We didn't know. We had no idea until it happened. I don't think they should be put into somebody's neighborhood. I just don't think it was fair. I don't think it's fair.
But she says the most frustrating thing to her is that Quaid has been at this exact house before, where he was convicted of tampering with his GPS device in 2014.
I have called several times. I've talked to the parole board, the guy that does the parole for this house.
The DOC says Quaid should be out of the house within 60 days. Charlow says she's getting tired of dealing with this.
Have a house by you and you deal with it, you know? You put them amongst us. Have them next door to you or across the street and see how you feel about it.
As Charlow says, another concern of hers is how close this transitional living house is to the closest school. When I mapped it out, it was about 1/3 of a mile away. Beloit police say anyone who sees anything suspicious happening at or near the house is encouraged to call their non-emergency number.
Adam Duxter reporting live from our bureau at the Rock County at the Janesville Gazette. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. The man injured during a shed fire near Perry Lutheran Church has died. The fire started on June 23rd at the shed near Perry Lutheran Church, which is near Mount Horeb. The Mount Horeb Area Joint Fire Department says Todd Dyerson passed away June 28th. Deputies say Dyerson lived near the church and cemetery and went to check on the fire, suffering burns as a result. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Firefighters are investigating the cause of an early morning fire in Dodge County that left about a dozen cattle dead.
Our Madeline O'Neill joins us now with the details. Maddie?
Mark and Susan, firefighters say there's a lot to keep in mind when fighting a farm fire in specific, both animal safety and containing the spread. It started at 3 this morning at the J&R Bar Ranch on State Highway 89 north of Waterloo. The Waterloo Fire Chief says the owners were able to move horses from a nearby barn to safety, but 13 cattle were trapped in the lower part of the barn and couldn't be saved. The chief says a big concern was the fire potentially spreading.
Always a big concern is the buildings that are very close to each other in the farm. the playground equipment, the house. There's some other barns that were very close, so we had to protect those buildings and make that kind of more the priority than just putting out the fire that was already there.
With aid from Dane, Dodge, Jefferson, and Columbia counties, Waterloo firefighters were able to put the fire out within about an hour. And as you can probably tell from the video, that barn is considered a total loss.
Thanks, Maddie.
Let's get a first look at your weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is in the backyard weather patio. Hi, Gary.
Hi, it's a humid afternoon again. Skies are partly sunny. There have been a few scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms, but right now most of the activity seems to be north of Madison, which is good news for concerts on the square. Let's take a look at visible cloud track. You can see some clouds starting to build up around the La Crosse area over toward Wisconsin Dells. On Doppler track, some scattered showers and thunderstorms there, and then also a few starting to pop up over parts of eastern Iowa. You can see there were a couple of thunderstorms just north of Madison. Those have fizzled out, but there are some thunderstorms in the northern portion of Sauk County heading up through the Dells area up into Juneau and Adams counties. Temperatures right now in the middle 80s. Dew point temperatures are in the lower 70s, and heat index values right now make it feel like it's about between 90 and 100 degrees. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be down into the upper 60s. Look for a chance for some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, a partly sunny, very warm and humid 4th of July with a high of 85. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Governor Tony Evers says he will continue to fight to expand Medicaid in Wisconsin.
He signed the state budget today, which did not include that provision or other top priorities. Rose Schmidt joining us live from the Capitol to explain what's in and what's out. Rose.
Yes, well, Governor Evers made 78 partial vetoes to the budget today, saying he made it into a better version of the plan the state legislature approved. Now, one of the biggest changes that Evers made today was increasing funding for K-12 schools by $65 million more than the state lawmakers approved. Another veto that Republicans say they're disappointed about effectively blocks new drug tests and work requirements for people on the state's food stamp program. Evers said the document he signed is insufficient, but he chose not to veto it altogether because it would have been divisive and petty.
I believe it falls short of the proposal we offered. I believe the people of Wisconsin deserve more, and I believe that we should and can do better.
I'm pleased that he signed it, and I would say because for the most part our budget was kept intact, I think it's a good thing for Wisconsin.
Assembly Speaker Robin Vos attacked Evers in a statement, saying the budget deserved to be signed without any partial vetoes. Fitzgerald, though, would not say today whether Republicans will try to override any of Evers' vetoes. And Evers says he will continue to fight for nonpartisan redistricting reform, which is something Republicans threw out of that state budget and something that they have long opposed. Back to you.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting live from the Capitol. Thank you.
4 Democratic presidential candidates are planning to attend a town hall event on July 11th in Milwaukee. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, former U.S. Housing Secretary Julian Castro, and former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke are slated to appear at the 2-hour event. The town hall comes 2 weeks after a pair of presidential debates saw 20 of the Democratic candidates square off. Wisconsin is seen as a key swing state in the 2020 election.
Madison police say 39 vehicles were pulled over for speeding during a traffic enforcement initiative on the westbound Beltline near Whitney Way. Police say 38 of the vehicles were pulled over for going more than 15 to 28 miles an hour over the speed limit. The driver of the other vehicle was pulled over for driving too close to the vehicle in front of him.
If you're one of the 49 million Americans that are traveling this holiday weekend, you can expect some record traffic joining you. AAA says today is expected to be the worst day on the roads here in Wisconsin. They say travel is up in the Badger State 4.5%, with more than 900,000 people expected to drive. You can thank lower gas prices in part for the record-setting travel.
Gas prices are a little up from where they were a week ago, but they're still down considerably from where they were a month ago or even this time last year. If you are heading into Illinois, you'll probably be spending a little more than you do in Wisconsin, which is typical.
AAA says Chicago will be the busiest city in the Midwest for 4th of July weekend travel. Roads there are expected to be the busiest on Friday.
And with the 4th of July comes fireworks celebrations. Fireworks displays will be happening tonight through the 20th in southern Wisconsin. We have a full list of area celebrations on our website, channel3000.com. Meanwhile, at the nation's capital, armored military vehicles have been moved to the National Mall ahead of the president's July 4th Salute to America. While the final touches are being put in place, the event is drawing criticism. The National Park Service is reportedly diverting $2.5 million slated for improvements at other parks for the president's event. And there's a VIP section with some tickets going to Republican donors. Critics call it a waste.
Instead of addressing something like veteran homelessness, he's spending it on boosting his ego and then getting tickets into the hands of wealthy donors for the Republican Party. What a waste of money.
The president tweeted saying the cost of our great salute to America tomorrow will be very little compared to what it's worth. The military says the flyovers planned for the event, which usually cost tens of thousands of dollars, will double as training flights with no extra cost to taxpayers.
Recovering in the hospital is never easy, but a little visitor at UW Hospital is making a big difference. This is Gracie, named after the Hillary Grace Healing Garden, where staff and patients noticed the duck was spending a lot of time. This is right outside of a unit at the hospital that often houses patients with a long road to recovery. Having Gracie has lifted the spirits of both the patients and the staff, either just by seeing her through the window or by encouraging them to get outside and move more. And once everybody learned that Gracie was expecting ducklings, she became even more of a local celebrity at the hospital.
When you see such sick people, just those simple things really bring back why you do this, to get people back out there and enjoying what the world has to offer. And sometimes it's as small as a duck and her babies, but it turns into a big thing.
Gracie's first ducklings hatched this week, with more to come. UW Hospital is working closely with the DNR to make sure that all of their ducks are in a row and that Gracie and her babies are safe and will be well taken care of. It just makes you happy to see that, doesn't it?
The little things.
Yeah, really does. He's one of only a handful of his kind in the country, the Madison Mallard's bat dog. It's Colt's sophomore season at the duck pond, the home field for Madison's Northwoods League collegiate team. This year, the 4-year-old brought an apprentice, his younger brother, Kovu. Colt's handler and best friend, Kate Busey, says the 45-pound border collie is a highly driven working dog who loves the praise and the attention that he gets from the fans.
I mean, Colt loves doing what he loves, getting the bat. He loves being part of the team. My favorite part is when people see him for the first time, that oh my gosh factor. And he loves it too. The more people cheer, the faster he goes to get the bat and the faster he comes back in. But I think it just adds an element of fun, especially for kids. And I hope that it inspires people to work with their dogs and be true to what their dogs really want to do. These guys love it. They're working dogs, and this is a job for them.
There are many more chances to catch Colt and Kovu at the duck pond this season. Learn more about how Colt became a bat dog and which games he'll be working on our full article on this story. It's on channel3000.com.
The bat dog.
Yeah, good boy.
Good boy. Well, there's more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, first responders from across the country are gathering to remember a New York police officer who recently died of cancer. We'll tell you what he said to Congress before his death.
The head of DHS launches an investigation into reports of border control agents making offensive comments on social media.
And it was a record-setting day on Wall Street. The Dow Industrial is up 179 points, closing at 26,966. The NASDAQ was up 61, and the S&P also set a record, up 22 points. We'll be right back. Well, a sea of blue turned up to say goodbye to the former NYPD detective who captured the nation's hearts with a wrenching appearance on Capitol Hill.
Fellow officers carried the flag-draped casket of 9/11 first responder Louie Alvarez into Immaculate Conception Church in Queens, New York. The former NYPD detective died over the weekend at 53 after a years-long battle with colon cancer, linked to the 3 months he spent digging through the rubble at Ground Zero after 9/11. Last month, Alvarez made headlines on Capitol Hill, where he asked for an extension of the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund, alongside comedian and activist Jon Stewart.
This fund is not a ticket to paradise. It is there to provide for our families when we can't.
In honor of the fallen hero, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio will be awarding Louie Alvarez a posthumous key to the city. The acting head of Homeland Security, Kevin McAleenan, ordered an investigation into a report of disturbing social media posts by active patrol agents. According to ProPublica, one agent posted a photo of a dead migrant and his toddler daughter and asked if it was fake because the bodies were so clean. The House Oversight Committee is calling for McAleenan to testify next week about the Facebook group and the department's director, Inspector General's report about dangerous overcrowding inside border detention facilities. The incoming president of the American Academy of Pediatrics toured 2 of the facilities last week.
When they opened the door, the first thing that hit us was a smell, and it was a smell of sweat, urine, and feces.
In a tweet Wednesday, President Trump blamed bad immigration laws, writing, "Many of these illegal aliens are living far better now than where they came from and in far safer conditions."
Well, let's get a look now at your first alert weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has it for us. Gary.
It's a steamy one out there. We had sunshine for much of the day today. Now we're starting to see these little clusters of thunderstorms popping up north and northwest of Madison, and then a few more over parts of eastern Iowa that are starting to get going. As we take a look at high-resolution Doppler radar, it looks like a strong thunderstorm in the central portion or north central portion of Sauk County around Reedsburg, moving very slowly toward the north and east. This could bring some heavy rain as well as perhaps some small hail. Right now, the severe weather threat with that pretty limited, but you can see the slow movement of these thunderstorms as they develop and just kind of drift off toward the north and east. The upper level winds are very light. There was a little thunderstorm cell just north and west of Madison, but that has fizzled out. And a wider view across southern Wisconsin shows much of the area rain-free, but another batch of thunderstorms will be approaching Grant County from the south and west, so keep an eye on those. A little wider radar perspective shows a lot of these thunderstorms to the south in the vicinity of a stationary front that's kind of been meandering back and forth. The storms north and west of Madison just kind of in the heat of the day pop-up thunderstorms. With the light winds, they don't move very quickly. Future radar over the next couple of hours shows the slow movement of these storms, mainly south and west of Madison. They could bring some brief heavy downpours and again, maybe some gusty winds. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms into far southwestern Wisconsin. The higher threat areas are to our west. Tomorrow, the severe weather threat mainly to our north and west, although we'll see some pop-up afternoon and evening thunderstorms for the 4th. Might interfere with some of the fireworks displays tomorrow evening. And then on Friday, there's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms over southwestern Wisconsin. Rain is another thing. Over the last 48 hours, you can see areas just south of Madison have picked up very little rain, but south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, many locations 1 to 2 inches of rain, even more toward the Quad Cities, several inches there yesterday. And then up to the north, some thunderstorms that were tracking through central Wisconsin and into the Milwaukee area brought some heavy downpours. Latest computer model forecast through Saturday morning, generally around a ½ inch of rain over southern Wisconsin, but there'll be spots that pick up 2, maybe 3 inches of rain and heavier thunderstorms if you get caught underneath one of the slower moving storms. Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam showing some buildups of clouds, but also plenty of sunshine. The WISC Sky Cam showing those towering cumulus clouds starting to form in the distance. As we check out our almanac for today, our high temperature so far 85, low temperature at 68, and right now we're sitting at 84 degrees. Easterly wind at 11 miles miles per hour, but the heat index makes it feel like it's 89 thanks to a humidity of 65%. Temperatures are in the lower 80s, northern parts of the state, generally middle 80s through southern Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan, and then areas that are getting some rain have cooled down into the 70s. So our forecast for tonight calls for skies to be variably cloudy. Look for a chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly this evening. Be muggy with some fog late, low temperature dropping to 69. For the 4th of July, partly sunny, very warm and humid, high 85. Again, some afternoon and evening shower and thunderstorm chances. On future track, you can see this thunderstorm chances ending overnight, lows dropping into the upper 60s. Tomorrow, dry during much of the morning, then thunderstorm chances pop up in the afternoon with highs in the mid 80s. They continue into tomorrow evening and then die down tomorrow night. Low temperatures dropping back into the upper 60s. And we repeat the process again on Friday with more afternoon and evening thunderstorms, high temperatures, middle 80s. Rainfall amounts, again, around a ½ inch, but there could be spots that see more than that. 7 to 10 day forecast, definite break in the heat and humidity. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, high temperatures upper 70s to around 80. Thunderstorm chance the middle part of next week, and then nice weather toward the end of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, it is the Wednesday before a big holiday, and on the Beltline, the outbound traffic on the Beltline moving very slowly right now. This is the view at Park Street and the Beltline. Delays on the eastbound Beltline, basically from the interstate all the way back to near Verona Road. Also some delays on US 12 heading northbound out of Middleton. Right now, a 40-minute trip on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate. Only 15 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading down to Janesville on I-3990, traffic hasn't built up there yet. 27 minutes on that commute, 20 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 18 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151 and East Washington Avenue. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, the NFL has a game plan to develop talent in the United Kingdom. That story after the break. Welcome back. The NFL is expanding its presence in the UK.
American football stars are in London scouting for British teenagers who might follow their path to fame. Ian Lee reports from London.
16-year-old Tashane Boyce didn't know much about American football a few months ago, but now he's chasing his dream of becoming a wide receiver.
I really like the game. It's kind of similar to rugby in some ways.
He's one of more than 1,500 British teens who applied for the UK's new NFL Academy. But only 80 of the strongest, fastest, most agile will win a spot at the elite school.
This is where I get to show them what I can do, and if they like me, they take me on board.
The academy hopes to give British kids not only a shot at the NFL, but a path to college as well.
That's what we're trying to mirror here. High school football, right down from academics to high school environment. Go! Go on, you Packers!
It's one more way the NFL is trying to grow the game across the pond. Teams have been playing in front of UK crowds for more than a decade. English NFL stars like F.A. Obata are a big inspiration for these kids.
Obata! Oh, has he had some kind of game?
4 years ago, the Carolina Panthers defensive end had never played the sport. He was homeless and caught up in gangs until football changed his life.
And honestly, they just remind me of myself when I was younger.
To have someone that's so big and known out there that's done it and has the experience helping me, it's a big feeling. I feel happy.
A game-changing experience the NFL hopes will give kids a future both on and off the field.
1, 2, 3, finish!
Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
The NFL hopes to expand its UK Academy in the coming years and someday see a showdown between high school students in the U.S. and the UK.
Interesting. We'll have another check of your weather when we come back.
Okay, yeah, we've got a, looks like a severe thunderstorm warning just coming out now for Sauk County. I'm going to take a quick walk over here. We got that area also under a flash flood warning, but right now looks like a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Sauk County. Let me see if I can get the time on that. That would be until 6 p.m. So Sauk County severe thunderstorm warning as well as a flash flood warning until 9:15 for that area. They've already picked up about 2 to 3 inches of rain, and they could be seeing some strong winds out of that storm near Reedsburg.
It's just not moving very fast.
No, it isn't.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Keep us posted. We'll see you back here at 6 and break in with any updates as are needed.